Welcome to the program, Mr. Khatib Zade. Can you tell me and tell our viewers where the talks, where the meetings stand? I know they're indirect, but is there hope that it could produce a re-entry into the nuclear deal?
Good to be with you, Christian. Actually, the moves in Vienna were in the right direction. There were positive moves that all the 4+1 made in Vienna. Vienna talks showed that progress is possible, and the positive momentum which has been created by 4+1 and Iran can be sustained if the United States is ready to fulfill its obligation under the resolution, United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231. At the same time, we are in a delicate situation. It seems that there are those inside the current United States administration that are much more committed to Trump's sanction than President Obama's nuclear deal. To me, it's a political decision that President Biden should make. Does he actually want to risk the nuclear deal signed by the United States when he was the vice president in favor of Trump's failed legacy and sanctions, or he's actually trying to depart from this failure?
Mr. Khatib Zade, can I just ask you from Iran's point of view, before we get into sanctions and the modalities of whether this agreement can be revived with the U.S. participation, what exactly does Iran want? Why is it a good deal from the perspective of the president, the foreign minister, and why do you all think you should get back into the deal, or that the deal should be revived?
Iran has been always crystal clear on the JCPOA. It was a very tough negotiations that P5+1 then, plus Iran and the EU went through. And after we signed, we sealed, and we tried to implement that. From then, Iran has been always consistent in terms of elaborating that everybody should be in full compliance with the JCPOA. Iran has been implementing fully and faithfully the JCPOA for many years, even 1 year after the President Trump withdrew from the JCPOA. From then, Iran has been always also crystal clear that all sanctions imposed illegally on Iran by the United States, meaning that those who have been imposed, reimposed, or relabeled by Trump administration should be removed verifiably and at once. So this is the clear and crystal clear position of Iran. We think that it is not only logical, it is a workable path back for the United States to get back to the deal and in full compliance.
Let me just read a tweet that you retweeted. It's from your boss, the Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, who said today, Iran proposes logical path to full JCPOA compliance, and that would be US, which caused this crisis, to return to full compliance first. Iran will reciprocate following rapid verifications. All Trump sanctions were anti-JCPOA and must be removed. So again, we still appear to be at this point where it's who's on first, who goes first. Is this going to be a surmountable procedural issue? Can you get over this issue?
Look, Christian, United States broke the deal, so they have to fix that. They know whatever should be done by United States to fix that. It is almost impossible for anybody inside Iran to trust United States, especially after 4 years of non-stop economic war against Iranian people. And remember that Trump administration imposed all sanctions on Iran in the first place, not because Iran was violating the JCPOA. Iran was subject to the illegal extraterritorial sanctions by United States because Iran was fully and faithfully actually implementing the JCPOA. So logically, it is up to United States to show to everybody that they want to reverse the course that Trump administration started. And remember, in 2015, when the JCPOA was signed, Iran was first to was the first party that implemented the deal. And after many months of verification, when in January 2016, IAEA verified that the United States started the full removal of sanctions, which actually didn't happen even under President Obama. But the point is that this time the United States has to show to everybody that they actually want, in practice, not on paper, to reverse the course, and they want to implement the JCPOA fully and faithfully. Iran has paved the way to preserve the deal. United States knows exactly what Iran has done to preserve the deal, and we think that United States has to first remove all the sanctions verifiably, and upon the verification, Iran is ready to not only stop its remedial measures taken to respond to the sanctions imposed by United States, but also to reverse. And all the measures taken by Iran is actually reversible.
So let me ask you, we've talked about these indirect talks which have been underway, and there is another round coming up. But do you think it will lead to direct talks between the US and Iran in Vienna or wherever next week?
Let me put it in this way. There has been no direct or indirect talks in Vienna or elsewhere because there is no need for any new negotiations. Once we have negotiated in full details the JCPOA. What we are doing right now in 4+1, plus Iran and the EU as the coordinator of the JCPOA, as we call it, the built-in mechanism in the deal joint commission, is to identify the list of sanctions, the full list of sanctions that the United States should actually remove. The 4+1 have their channels to talk to United States to see what United States is actually thinking. United States should get to the point that we can verify that they are actually implementing. Whether Iran and United States can again talk, it depends if United States get back to the deal and on the table, JCPOA table, when everybody is present, then we can continue. But until then, there would be no direct or indirect talks or negotiation between two sides.
Well, let me ask you this then, because, even if these sanctions are relieved, in other words, the sanctions that were imposed by the Trump administration, other existing sanctions, which the U.S. has had, will not be lifted, according to your counterpart at the State Department, Ned Price. Let's just play what he said about this week.
We believe that Iran's ballistic missile program, that Iran's violation of that Iran's human rights abuses, that Iran's support for malign proxies, Iran's support for terrorism, we believe all of those things pose a profound challenge to us as well as to our regional partners. That is why we will continue, including through sanctions, to push back on those issues.
So let's say the nuclear part of this, the JCPOA part of this is solved. Will Iran be open to discussing these other issues that, as you very well know, is where a lot of the resistance comes from countries in the Persian Gulf area, from Israel, from the United States itself? They want these other issues addressed as well at some point.
First of all, let me clarify that all sanctions without any distinction between designations and sanctions should remove. Everybody knows that 4 years of Trump was exactly was about to ruin the JCPOA and targeting Iran, and all the sanctions imposed by the United States is very much related to the JCPOA. It is not hidden that all the officials under Trump were arguing that they are going to make it impossible or make it very much difficult for any other administration to get back to full compliance. So we do believe that any sanctions imposed by Trump should be removed. It doesn't matter if it is relabeled or reimposed or actually imposed. Everything should get back to January 2017. On other issues that you mentioned, I assume that you know better than me that no country on earth compromises on its national security, and missiles is actually our defense, the issue of our defense. So nobody is going to talk about that. If our neighbors are ready to talk about 100 billions of quote-unquote beautiful military, American military equipment poured in our region. If the United States is ready to stop this, and if the other side are ready to talk about those issues, it's a matter of time. We have to wait and see. But nobody is going to talk about these sort of issues. On the regional issues, again, there is a huge differences between us and the United States. We have never been shy to say that United States shoulder to shoulder to Israeli regime are actually the main root cause of many problems in our region. If there was no United States aggression toward our region, the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, then there would be no such permanent endless war as a normal thing in our region. The only thing that actually we and Iran and United States agreed upon was to solve the nuclear issue. Unfortunately, United States decided to even make this agreement a point of conflict between two sides, and we really hope that United States can address this issue from the word that it is. One last thing. Seems that there are those inside the U.S. administration that they are trying to use some sanctions, to keep some sanctions as a leverage on Iran. They have tried once, they failed, and it will fail again if they do that.